Hey guys, it's Thankful Thursday and it's Rachel and I'm here with Kel. I have a little surprise. He is called Louis. He is called Louis and he's a papillon, if I'm pronouncing that right, a butterfly dog. Oh, and we've just been on a little walk, haven't we, Louis? And he's the new addition to the family. I'm here with my girlfriend. I'm going to be moving here in a couple of weeks. Pashy! And we have Pash over there. And now we have Louis. So we have Queen Pasha and King Louis. So yeah, I don't know what he wants to do. What do you want to do, Papa? Are you going to... Oh, no. Is he going to sit? Are you going to sit? Are we going to sit? He might want to have a sleep, actually, because we've had a few little walkies, haven't we? Yeah, so I'm here with Kel this week. And we are answering the question... well, it's not a question. It was more of a comment that was made. And hang on, let me just put him down. Hey, and we were it was anonymous, and it was basically like after years of different eating disorders and swapping from one to the other, basically, can I ever live normally? And being all faithful as I am, and you know, full of hope and such, I want to say yes, you can recover, you can live normally. I know that when I was very poorly that I couldn't even imagine a day when not only could I eat normally, but could I have a normal relationship with my body. I use the word normal flexibly here. By normal, I guess I'm referring to life without an eating disorder, and I'm also referring to a life without disordered eating. I know there's lots of men, women, boys, girls up and down the country who don't necessarily have eating disorders but have some form of issue with eating, and whether that's people who diet or whatever, I want to believe that for myself and certainly for many out there that yes, you can live normally. And I also want to say that I think that I'm partly grateful for what I've been through with my eating disorder, because I won't be one of those women that diets and worries about her weight, because having gone through an eating disorder, I had to make a choice about whether I continued in that fashion. I never dieted, but I don't want to be concerned with my body, and I don't want to be concerned with the food I'm putting in my mouth. My goal in terms of my recovery was to eat healthily, eat regularly, listen to my body, have my weight be what my weight wants to be active, and you know, to feel content in myself, and that's certainly what I've achieved. So yes, you can live normally, and you know, an eating disorder doesn't have to control your life or your existence. I think it's very common to swap in and out of eating disorders. I know that for most people, they very rarely struggle with just anorexia or just bulimia or just compulsive overeating. And there's so many others in between: orthorexia, you know, exercise addiction, all of these things that come into that. And of course, other mental health issues, anxieties, depression, addictions to alcohol or drugs, bipolar personality disorders, all sorts of difficulties that are there as well. And so I guess when you're confronted with that and you're looking to recover, it can feel incredibly overwhelming, and it can feel like, you know, no, I'm never going to be able to just live my life normally. And you know, I don't mean this in a kind of arrogant way, but I am an example of that. And okay, my life isn't perfect, but I've built a life for myself from nothing. I say nothing because when I got to the point of choosing to recover, I didn't have anything, you know. I had so much around me, but I didn't have a life. I had my family, and I, you know, and I had to make a start, and it was very, very lonely and very scary. And I look where I am now, and I have an amazing girlfriend. I have little animals. I've got my animals at home. I've got my family. I've got my friends. You know, I'm going to start working. I've got my studies, and I've built all of that for myself. And I think that what then has happened in turn is that my recovery from my eating disorder hasn't been perfect. There's been ups and downs and ins and outs. So I'm sure the viewer who posted this statement is finding that they're going from one to another, and I think when you first begin recovery, that's quite normal. I think that I did go through periods where I did eat more than my body necessarily needed, But, well, in terms of an average amount of food to eat in a day, what they say for a woman, 2,000 calories, they say for a man, 2,500. Very rough estimates, you know, based on an active person who's living and working and all the rest of it. And I did perhaps eat more at times, and I guess that was my body's way of trying to catch up. But also, I think emotionally, it can be quite black and white when you're first recovering. And it's like, well, why bother at all? You know, if I can't do this perfectly, why bother? And so there was kind of those swings and those extremes. Confronting eating disordered behaviours and regularising your eating is incredibly difficult, and my very basic start place to build up to is to eat 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch and dinner, and have some snacks, a snack in between breakfast and lunch. If possible, as an afternoon snack between lunch and dinner, and then some supper before you go to bed. I think regardless of whether you're struggling with purging, overeating and purging, anorexia, restriction, exercise, I think to start with a very core meal plan, a very basic sketch. You don't have to write it down, but just so you become regularised, and so you get up in the morning and you eat your breakfast, and then you maybe have something, you know, at like 11 o'clock, and then you have your lunch at 1, and you just kind of fall into a routine, and it becomes a hell of a lot easier to recover. Eat with people, that's my other advice. Be around people, because that really helps to regulise your behaviours. Doing this on your own can be quite problematic, and so if you can be with people, do that. And seek help. Seek help. I don't know what's available to you. I don't know what you feel comfortable, and if you want to write to us more. I mean, this was quite an open statement, really, and I've kind of reflected on it in my own way. And so you might want to write to us again based on this. People might want to feedback to this video, and you know, maybe make some comments based on what's been said, really. And I have to say, please don't lose hope. And you know, I've been at points when, you know, I really don't know how I survived or how I'm alive today, and I'm here and I'm living, and the life I never believed that I could have, and actually one that professionals told me I couldn't have. And with enough will, enough strength and enough determination, you can do this, and you are strong enough, and you can get through this. Okay guys, I'll be interesting to see what Kel's had to say on this. So yeah, I'm going to say goodbye, and Louis flat out. He's absolutely flat out, and Hashi is as well, and I'm going to get on with some revisions. So I'll see you guys, and I love you. Bye.